Hello, this is Charlie from GreenPonik. I'm going to talk to you about the software we use for our modules, and more especially the software we've used for the beta tests, which is a software that is still running on some modules, and you will have an updated version of this software for the final product, which will be delivered in March for all our backers from Kickstarter. By the way, the Kickstarter campaign, great success for us. We've reached our target, and there are still orders incoming. So thank you so much, everyone, for that. Now, let's make a quick recap on what was our beta unit. There are some differences with the final kit, which is right here. So let's take the this one, which was the water sensor, which is now called the water brain, but do the same function. This one was a little bit smaller in terms of size, but has a lot less of capabilities than this one. And this little guy is also not as easy to use regarding to the plugs as this one, as you will see later on. And so on this one, we've improved a lot of things. We've improved the airflow capacity because this kind of input and output for the fan was not very good in terms of protection against water. Also, it wasn't easy to include sensors in this kind of design. Regarding the I/O, we're using Ethernet ports to plug all the modules together. Those kind of ports are, for one thing, big, and also it's not as easy to use as USB Type-C. And USB Type-C right now is present in a lot of products, so it's a very well-known connector that will be used for years and years to come, so we preferred USB Type-C. Also, all those ports here were very compact, very close together, so when everything was plugged in, you didn't have enough space to intervene with your hands freely. And this unit was a special one because we had a special Ethernet port right here, which allowed us to use it with multiple dosing module. And regarding those dosing module, this was the module we've been using. So you can see that the main difference with this one will be the type of tube we've used for the beta. You can see like that, yeah. It's the in this configuration, basically this pump was sucking water from the main water reservoir, sucking water, pushing it into this harness where all the pump outputs were injecting either pH or nutrient solutions. And the main problem with this kind of connectors and tubes is that it's too small, and it's not very convenient for daily maintenance. Meaning that those connectors, I have one here, are so small, like that. Are so small that when you want to take the tube out to clean the whole thing, a lot of the time you will break those type of connectors. Also, the diameter is very, very little, meaning that it's easier to get blocked by solution coming from the tank or just sitting in the harness for a long time. Which those kind of little tubes have been changed for the final version, which are now using bigger tubes with stronger connectors, which are stronger but also easier to use on a day-to-day basis. So those modules have been running. Those came back from one of our beta tester, and for this test we've made a very simple interface that was used on computer or also on smartphone or tablet. So what I will do, I've plugged another one of this guy to the main power, and I've turned on my laptop, and I'm capturing everything I'm doing on the laptop, so I will be able to show you live what's going on. So here we are in the main screen of the interface, where we can see that we have some data on it. So on this module, I took it out from a test setup where we have made some dosages. I've used this module to improve the accuracy of our nutrient dosages. So what you can see here on the first tile, top left, is my EC. So you can see directly the EC is 1.61 and the target is 1.6. So we are on point, really accurate in terms of dosing on this one. And what you can see also is the top bar is green. When it's green, it's basically meaning that the auto-dosing is on. When it's off, it becomes blank, just like the pH on the right side. On this module, we did not care about pH, we were focusing on EC. So you can see it's off, and so the pH is fluctuating a lot because it's not controlled. The same, you can see other data on this screen. You can see water temperature because our nutrient sensor has a temperature sensor embedded in it, which means it will allow to compensate the reading and have the perfect reading, whether it's 15 degrees Celsius or 30 degrees Celsius in your water tank. 30 degrees, which is quite not that good for your plants because you will lack oxygen, but that's another topic. You have on the right here the air sensor. So in the air section, we had temperature, humidity, air pressure, and also light intensity. So each time you click on a tile, it opens a view where you will find a detailed graph. You can put in hour, day, week, months, or more. So you have a complete data logging so that you can view everything that happened in your growing system for a long time. And it's very convenient because you don't really know what happens between each time you make a dose or you make a measurement, you know. And for example, during the night, there will be fluctuation that you will not see. So with this software, you are able to control everything and to know what happens in your garden. Very few settings here. Basically, you can turn on or off auto dosing. So it takes a little bit of time on this system. That's it. Confirmation. EC regulation is now off, and I can turn it on again. You can see that the little bar here has become grayed, and now turn it back on. And right below this switch, you had the target in millisiemens. So for the target, you just look at your nutrient chart. Basically, each nutrient brand will tell you which kind of EC you want to reach. So right here, you will be able to enter this target, and after you enter the target, set auto-dosing to on, the device will take care of everything for you. As you might know, because you maybe know hydroponics, when you have sensors that are submerged in the water, those sensors have to be calibrated from time to time. Because a sensor isn't something perfect, it will read, for example, pH 7, and after some time it will go a little bit below or a little bit higher. So you need to calibrate it with calibration solutions. So how does it work? Well, you take the sensor and you plunge it into the calibration solution and click on calibration. So the process here is very simple. You don't have to trim any potentiometer or do some manual stuff. You just watch the video if you need a guide to show you how to put the calibration solution into the sensor cap, put the sensor cap back on the sensor, and so on. And when you're ready to calibrate the sensor, you click on Launch Calibration. And it will save the new calibration value in your system. And if there is a big difference between what it's supposed to read and what it's reading, it will tell you that there is an issue. So it's important that it tells you if there is an issue, because it basically means your sensor became too old and not accurate enough. For the pH, we have the exact same logic. So again, here, auto-dosing was off, so you can see the fluctuations of the pH depending on dosages we've made of EC and having an impact on the pH. Same thing, you can turn it on or off, you can set your target easily, and you can launch a calibration. Same, you have the video that will guide you along the way, and when you're ready, when you've put the solution in the cap on the sensor, click Launch Calibration. It makes the calibration for you and saves all the data needed in the system. Now, as I told you before, this module was a little bit different of the other because it didn't have only the capability to use 4 pumps, it used 8. So in this view, you can see that we've used 1 pump for the water cycle, to take water from the reservoir to the dosing module and back to the reservoir. We've used 1 pump for pH, and we've used 6 pumps for EC. So 6 pumps might seem big, but for certain range of nutrients, it becomes very, very interesting. For example, we've used the Terra Aquatica 3-part format, 3 parts nutrients. And so it takes 3 pumps, and also we've decided to add calcium and magnesium add-ons because we've used a lot of rainwater that need more calcium and magnesium than tap water, and we've also wanted to use enzymes in the system and a booster made to increase the production and plant resistance. So each pump was used, and within each pump you have settings that you can do, that you can enter. Sorry. So what are the settings? Well, here we have the first EC pump. So for the beta, you had to enter the dosage in milliliter per 10 liter that the nutrient brand tells you to put. So that's the number you will see on your nutrient chart. You put the number right here and you leave all the rest. You forget everything you've got below, because below was information for us. For the product, we could set a maximum dose, which was the maximum dose allowed in one time, to control the maximum time a pump will be on. You will have also the bottle tube length, which is in centimeters, because in the beta version we were calculating, you know, the length of the tube going from the bottle to the pump and to the pump, from the pump to the harness, to calculate the quantity of liquid in it for filling the tube automatically. But that's not something we'll use in the final version. In the final version, you will only have to put the dosage written on the bottle, and that's it. Below you can see there are cleaning function. Prime tube it means that it will fill the tube from the nutrient bottle to the harness. Clean the tube means that it will run the pump for quite some time in order to clean the system. And manual dosage is manual dosage. You could enter a number of milliliters, hit apply, and it would put this dosage in your system. At the top of this menu you can see total dosed. The total dosed is a counter that will count the amount of milliliters of each nutrient bottle that has been dosed into your system. And that's very important because it allows you to keep track of what the system is doing. And also it allows you to keep track how much nutrient you are using per crop, for example. So on this version, you only have the counter that gives you the quantity in milliliters that has been used, but in the final version, it will also tell you how much it has cost you for a crop. So it will tell you for this duration, for this pump, or for this duration, taking all the pump into account, how much it has cost you in terms of nutrient solution. Because to us it's a very important issue. A lot of people buy nutrients and they just follow the chart, but they don't really know if the plants is using a lot of nutrients or not. And also sometimes on the chart it tells you to put that amount of nutrients which is more than needed for the plants. So right here we have a system where the dosage are automatic, meaning that it will only care about the EC, the quantity of global nutrients it will reach within a solution, and to keep the right proportion between each nutrient. So that's it for the pumps. So basically what you do when you have the beta module, you had to enter all those numbers written on the chart for each pump. Okay? And we also had another view to track the nutrients, so I can show you that. I will put on pause because I have to enter some password and so on. And we are back. So I've logged into the special view, the administrator view, and as you can see below the pump section you have the nutrient tracker section. So in this one you can see the level on each bottle used, and the important thing is that we were able to set alarms in order to know when a bottle needed to be refilled. So what we did most of the time, we set an alert at about 10% remaining in the bottle, and so that when the system checked this level and saw that it was at 10%, we received a notification telling us, okay, you are low on bottle number 2, for example. You need to refill it before it's too late and before the pump only sucks air, basically. So this one was a dynamic illustration with the level that you could see, you know, getting lower and lower when we had dosages that were made. Okay, so that's it for the beta version. What can I show you also? So what I can also show you is here, this little bell was the place where we had notification coming, and so there is a little 0 here, meaning there is no notification, and when you had it was written in red. Also in the system section we had the ability to make updates so that the module would connect to our servers and update automatically. we had the network section. So in the network section, the users had the possibility to enter a Wi-Fi network, name and password to connect. And we've also created a lot of background services in order to intervene when something happened. So, for example, when we had someone telling us, okay, I've got the module did that, and I do not understand why it did that, that's a problem, can you take a look? So we had the ability to go within the module and select a log file. So the log file contains everything that the system does for every kind of task. So the user had access to those log files to see for himself or herself what was happening. And also they had the possibility to send us directly the log files by just clicking on the blue button, send pump logs. This button sent an email directly to us, to the office, so we could take a look at the log and see what happened. And when we, so after that, we evaluate the issue, made correction if needed on the code side of things, and push an update into all the devices. And you have a lot of categories in there to have a deep understanding of everything that was happening. So that's the basic use of this interface. This is a very, very simple design and very raw data that you can display in those tiles. The final version will be refined with more flexibility. It will be easier to use also. And it will take into account the fact that you can add more modules to the configuration, because in the beta configuration it was all fixed, you know. You had a monitoring module plus the dosing module, and if you wanted to add pumps and so on, it wasn't possible, at least not easily at all. So the final version will be very much flexible, and I will show you details on the new version of the software that we are testing right now indoors. Yeah, as soon as we have the possibility to show you that, we'll show you that on socials, YouTube and so on. Don't hesitate to put comments about what you think about that, what you would love to see appear in the interface, what you think we can do to make it better, and so on and so on. And we'll be always glad to answer to you guys. It's always a pleasure to talk to other people loving hydroponics, you know. It's just like a real passion to us. Okay, so talk to you soon and see you next time. Bye.